Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus and welcome to Livestream Tuesday. I hope you guys had a great weekend and that Monday wasn't too bad yesterday. Thank you everyone for joining in so early on in the live chat room because I saw some of you guys hanging out in there at about 11 o'clock, so an hour ago. So thank you guys for getting involved so early on. I'm just having a little look to see who's in the house. Let me get you guys up on screen because we have Debbie in there and Jennifer, King Nero, Neil, Susan and Dennis, Linda, Lethea, Dwayne, Deborah, Linda Z, Karen, Victor, Lucy, Corey, Carla, Tim and Susan and Dennis again. Hello guys, thank you for joining me and a massive shout out to the moderators that went through there. We had Neil and Carla and Laurie is in the house as well, whose name you'll see going through the screen as I say it. So, hello moderators, massive thank you for everything that you do, but also just to everybody for joining in and hitting that thumbs up. This is something that we can do straight off the bat. We can have the spike of the likes, and while I was talking I did adjust the likes. It always moves, but I made sure that I was ready for it because we are at 96 likes already. That is amazing. So thank you for hitting all of those thumbs up pre-live stream. We'll see where we can get to tonight with all of the likes. And just to get on screen, the target for tonight is 330. So that is what we're aiming for, almost a third of the way there already. So thank you guys. You can spike those likes as you come through the door. That would be much appreciated. And let me get the names of my patrons up on screen as well because they make this live stream possible, as well as all of the other videos on this channel as well, the analysis videos and the soon to be, fingers crossed, live analysis videos, which will be starting tomorrow night at this time. So I'm going to keep it all nice and even, equal for the live streams. So it'll still be 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time on Wednesdays, and you don't have to watch those live. They'll still be available like these live streams are after the fact. Once they've already been recorded, it will just work as a normal analysis video. I'm going to be approaching it in exactly the same way. It just so happens that it'll be live and people can jump into the comment section in a live setting or the live chat room. I don't think we'll be having the chat room up on screen during the live analysis purely because it takes up quite a lot of space and you might not even be able to see the video that I'm looking at and trying to analyze. So with that said, later on in this live stream, I'm not sure when I'm going to do it, but I might throw it in right at the beginning here just to test the settings for tomorrow night. I know that I tried this on Saturday and I deafened pretty much everybody who was listening to the live stream because we got some nasty feedback going on. And I'm just going to give it a massive shout out to Michael Palmasano, who I did In at the Deep End with, where we jammed over a backing track, and I emailed him a couple of days ago, it might have been yesterday actually, and we discussed audio setups and he gave me some great advice on software, things that might work in order to stop that feedback problem and to be able to watch a video live and for you guys to watch it live with me and also hear what I'm hearing. Obviously when I'm listening to it, it's coming out of my speakers, and then it was a case of trying to get that audio signal to go through the internet and through the live stream. So what we'll do is, I think I'm probably just going to get rid of the live chat room momentarily because I want to see if this is going to work. I might as well do it right at the beginning of the live stream, get it out the way, and then we can get the super chat window up on screen, get into the first video, all of the normal stuff. So I'm going to be featuring one of my own videos because I know that that's going to be fine and copyright isn't going to get involved and shut down the whole stream before we've even started. But we're going to go into the half screen that I usually do. I'm going to get the video up on screen. Now, I'm going to play the video from YouTube and I need you guys to let me know if you can hear the audio from this video. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it's going to work because it was working last night, but you never really know until you live stream. So here we go, fingers crossed. And there we have it. So that was my song called Hero, and I don't know if you guys could hear that, and it sounded like there might have been a little bit of an echo going on after it stopped. So if you can hear it, have a listen to the end. Obviously it's too late saying it now, but it sounded like it stopped and then there was a slight echo afterwards. So what I'm going to do, just for my own purposes, for me learning for tomorrow night, I'm going to turn off my audio monitor here and then see if it's going to repeat back, but then I won't be able to hear the audio, or maybe I will. Let me have a look. I'm turning off my audio monitor. Hopefully you guys can still hear my voice, and I'm going to play this. Aha, and then I stopped it and there wasn't any delay. So I think that delay might have been just from me having the audio monitor on, coming out of the computer, and it having those two signals going on. But anyway, that's pretty much okay, I think. I'm going to have to turn on the audio monitor because I need to hear what's going on tonight with the videos that I'm going to be playing. But it looks like from the comments coming in that you could hear the audio, so that means it's good. We are set up for tomorrow night, and I'll be able to watch the video and you'll be able to hear the video because that's quite an important part of it, and then we'll get into the analysis. That'll be tomorrow night live. So a massive shout out to Michael for helping me and just explaining his setup and just finding a way for me to be able to get you guys to hear the audio live. Also, a massive shout out to you guys and these people at the bottom of the screen. Let me just go back to the normal screen that we have on the live streams and get rid of that video out of my face and get you guys back up on screen as well. A massive shout out to you guys and you guys at the bottom of the screen as well, my patrons, because in order to get everything set up, I had to buy some new software so that I could route the audio in my computer a different way, and it was just some software that I had to buy, and it's something that I would never have been able to afford to buy just instantly like I could yesterday without all of your support. So a massive thank you to everybody who donates in these live streams as well, and the constant support that I get over on Patreon, you guys at the bottom of the screen, because this is a clear representation of what the support does. It means that rather than saying, oh, I can't do the analysis video that I wanted to do tomorrow night, I'm going to have to save up for maybe a few weeks and maybe I'll be able to do one next month. It's literally the case that I can look at what I need and then get what I need, and the schedule continues exactly how I want to do it and how quickly I want to go forward. I'm able to move forward with it. So this is a great example of just being able to do something and change something that needed changing, buying some software that allows me to do what I want to do, and it's all because of you guys and your support. So a massive thank you to all of you guys who tune into these live streams, patrons at the bottom of the screen, and you guys in the super chat window as well. We have had a couple of donations in the super chat window, so let me get that up on screen, and there we have it. So Orlando has donated $2 again. Thank you for this, Orlando. And the message was, it is about that time to spike the likes, with some thumbs up. Great idea from Orlando. And let me also have a plug of the mug in here. Spike the likes. I have got the right mug for tonight because it is the live stream Tuesday mug. I think at some point I'm going to drop this and spill my summer fruit squash, but it is not tonight. Fingers crossed. Anyway, not so far. So thank you, Orlando, for that. If you want to get your hands on your Spike the Likes mug, then head over to teespring.com, type in Wings of Pegasus. You'll be able to find all of the merchandise there. Also, it should be in the tray underneath this video and underneath all of the videos on the channel. If you just have a little scroll through, you'll see a hoodie there, t-shirts, all that kind of stuff. Actually, this exact t-shirt, and there's a slightly more old school t-shirt up there, so you get some choices. but actually 3 choices of mugs as well. We've got the black and white one, which I have on Saturdays, and the Livestream Tuesday one, which I have on Tuesdays. And there's a purple and white one, which is very popular. And thank you guys for not only getting the mugs, but taking pictures of yourselves with your mugs and uploading them to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook. That's where I go to grab the pictures that I feature on these live streams. So let's get back into that super chat window, because Marilyn has donated $5. Thank you for this, Marilyn. The message is, hi Phil, if you were asked by a famous rock band to tour with them, would you? With a heart. So thank you for that question, Marilyn. And it would probably be the case with a world tour, probably not, because I've got too much stuff that I do here, and keeping my channel up and running and just live streaming as well. It might be the case that I'd be away for, what, 4 or 5 months if it is a proper world tour, maybe even 6 months, and then I wouldn't be streaming for that long. So I would much rather keep everything going here. But if a band are touring the UK, that's something that I could probably do, and it would be feasible. I'd have to work things out with my schedule, but it could be possible. So the answer to that is, if it was local, then yes, in terms of in the UK. But if it was a world tour, I think it's just something that's a little bit too much of an undertaking to join another band and do everything with them, because I've got quite a lot going on, and it is a full-time job really here, answering all of the messages and the emails, the comments, and just doing everything like the analysis videos, the live analysis video, which I'm going to be starting up, the In at the Deep End, emailing people about that, getting guests and recording it, doing the schedules, just making sure that we can do it at a particular time, editing that together, also editing of the analysis videos. There's a lot that goes on, so I think I would probably just rather keep things going on the channel than go on a world tour and potentially disappear for a very long time. We know that unfortunately COVID is stopping all of the world tours and all that kind of stuff, so it is a little bit more applicable to be just continuing things on at the moment, where I am here in this room with you guys on a Tuesday night and a Saturday night, and soon to be live analysis tomorrow night on Wednesdays. So thank you for that, and I'm just going to have to scroll up a little bit. I wonder if I shouldn't have made that a bit bigger because it might mess up the screen, but I'm just going to scroll up to make sure that I don't miss anybody out, because Paul donated $50 as well. Thank you for that, Paul, and the message is, here's to the software fund. So thank you for that, Paul, and that is it. I've got the fund now that is ready for any future problems, and this is something that everybody knows. When you're recording or you're creating a video on YouTube, you're always going to run into a wall, and it's pretty much always going to be something that you have to then troubleshoot, and it might take a day or 2 days, or even worse, 3 days of just trying to sort the same issue out. But for me to be able to sort it out, I had the issue on Saturday in that live stream where we had the feedback, and it is now Tuesday night, but I actually managed to sort it Monday night. I'm losing track of my days here, but Monday night meant that I could pretty much sort it out. And tonight, having sorted it out, I now know that it works in the live stream. So it's only taken me 4 days to suss it out and figure it out, because I could get that software. So thank you, Paul, for this addition to the new software fund. But thank you everyone for all of your support and making that possible in the first place. Lucy has donated $4.99. Thank you for that, Lucy. The message is, how do you feel, fellow wingers and new wingers? Spike the likes, y'all, with thumbs up and some rock horns, a heart and peace. So thank you for that, Lucy. And King Nero's in the house again and has donated $5. Thank you for that. The message is, live analysis rocks. So thank you for that. I haven't done it yet. It might be absolutely rubbish, but we will see. We will both find out live tomorrow night. But thank you for that. Marge has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Marge. And I'm just going to scroll down. And the message is, are cheaper guitar harder to keep tuned? When you first put them on, do you have to wait for them to stretch? Does weather have an effect on tuning? So thank you for that, Marge. And just to address all of the questions in there, are cheaper guitars harder to keep tuned when you first put them on? I'm assuming that you're talking about strings, but in general, if a guitar is cheaper, even though nowadays you get some great cheaper guitars, Yamaha actually makes some really nice, cheap, really entry-level guitars that are easy to play and have got a decent action for the price. And I'm talking about 150 quid, something like that, maybe $200 or less. You can get a decent guitar nowadays, electric guitar I'm talking about. So yes, Yamaha makes some great entry-level guitars, but generally, the more expensive the guitars are, the more solidly they are made, the easier it is to keep them in tune, or they keep their tuning a lot more solidly than the cheaper made guitars. But pretty much, like I said, the cheaper guitars you get nowadays are so good compared to the ones that were available even when I was young, and we're talking about maybe 25 years ago now. There weren't as good a quality guitars as you can get now. But anyway, so the answer to that is, yeah, more expensive guitars, more solidly made guitars tend to keep their tuning more accurately than cheaper ones. But the second question, do you have to wait for them to stretch? So now this is referring to strings, and when you put your new set of guitar strings on, you have to play them in, and some people, you might have seen them changing their strings, and then they actually pull the string out away from the neck in order to stretch them, so then when they go back to their previous tension, by stretching them, and then they'll lose a bit of pitch because they've been stretched like an elastic band, and then they tighten them up to pitch again. It means that they're gradually getting up to that pitch consistently, so that once you then start to bend the string and you increase the tension on those strings, they will still return to that even tension that they had before, because they've been used to being bent, and just the tension on it, I'm trying to explain this, hopefully it's making sense. The tension of it is increasing when you bend a string, and that's what people are doing. When they're pulling the strings away from the neck, they're increasing the tension in order for then the string to sit at a little bit more of an even level, and the guitars will then keep their balance tension wise, and you can start to stretch and play lots of different bends, and even bend it quite a long way, and you'll be absolutely fine. The thing to remember is that you want to stretch all of your strings. So when I change my strings, I make sure that I do some gnarly bends on the low E string, the A string, the D string, really bend those out of shape so that you get to that point of the strings maintaining their consistency as soon as possible. So there is definitely a play-in period as soon as you change your strings, and that will go for every guitar. It doesn't matter if it's a cheap guitar or an expensive guitar, you need to play those strings in. But the final part of that question, does weather have an effect on tuning? Yes, it does, because if you're playing a guitar that is made out of wood, wood expands and it contracts depending on whether it's warm or cold. So if you imagine that when wood is contracting, it means that the tension on the strings is going to change, and then you'll find a change in the tuning exactly the same as if it suddenly gets warm. And this is why it's good to keep guitars at a consistent temperature if you're really serious about your guitars. And when I'm keeping the guitars in this room, for example, this room heats up and cools down at an even speed. It doesn't suddenly get really hot or suddenly get really cold, so it's quite a nice environment for the guitars to stay in tune, because the wood isn't expanding or contracting at any significant speed. So it's pretty much fine, unless we get some random weather here in the UK and it suddenly gets hot, which doesn't tend to happen, and vice versa. But anyway, thank you for that, Marge. Vince has donated $10. Thank you so much for that, Vince. And the message is Phil from live chat. Retroactive 1, Autry, I'm a guitarist. What do you think about 3 guitars in different octaves stimulating the horn part in the intro to Sam and Dave's Hold On, I'm Coming? And I'm not sure about what you're referring to, but the 3 guitars in different octaves simulating, maybe not stimulating, the horn part in the intro to Sam and Dave's Hold On, I'm Coming. So I do know the song, and I'm trying to just imagine that as doing it with 3 guitars in different octaves, and pretty much, I mean, I'm one of these guys that is a little bit biased towards guitars, so I love to hear guitar covers, but also guitars filling in lead sections of songs where there might be other instrumentals generally, but I love to hear harmonized guitars, and it's something that I would like to hear lots of different songs being adapted, and there certainly is on YouTube a lot of different artists and guitarists who adapt songs and harmonize with each other with their lead guitars, and it does make an interesting sound. It's something that I have done in the past on covers. I did Oblivion, the computer game on PlayStation 3, where I converted all of the parts to guitar, put my own kind of spin on it, but I do enjoy doing that, and yeah, I think it's just fun to do. But if that's something that you're asking me whether I back it or don't back it, I would back it and give it my thumbs up, because as I said, I'm a little bit biased towards lead guitar. But anyway, thank you, Vince, for that. Thank you, Retroactive One Autry, for doing that as well and posting that question. And Michael is in the house and has donated $5. Thank you for this, Michael. The message is, could I request Boys Are Back in Town? So thank you for that, Michael. And it's going to be too late for this live stream. I do request over on Patreon, because I start setting up the live stream at about 11:15, 11:30. And once it's all done, then I just click on the links and the buttons that I've set up so I can keep it all going smoothly. If I was trying to do all of this off the cuff, it just would be rubbish, because you'd be watching me for ages, looking at the screen, having to create all of the links that I need and all of the buttons that I need. So that's why I ask in advance, but it might be something that we can play in the future if you guys want to hear that particular cover. But thank you, Michael, for that. And Carl has donated $5. Thank you for this, Carl, again. The message is the usual donation for Across the Pond, Philfest, or whatever, even for takeout, anything other than McDonald's. So thank you for that, Carl. And yeah, I don't really fancy McDonald's at the moment. I can, well, feel a leaning towards Chinese, maybe pizza, but maybe Chinese, because I haven't had that in a while. But my last Chinese was Carl's fault anyway, because of the donations in the live stream. But thank you, Carl, for that. Sherry has donated $4.99. Thank you for this, Sherry. The message is, looking forward to live analysis tomorrow, Phil. So happy to be here with my fellow wingers with a heart. Rock horns, a guitar, and a heart again, so thank you for that, Sherry. I'm looking forward to it as well. It's going to be a new experience on the channel. We'll see how we collectively get on with it, but it should be good fun. Anyway, Lucy has donated again $14.99. Thank you so much for that, Lucy. The message is, for the Cross the Pond Fund, Philfest, Winger Stock, Philestival, Philapalooza, also for the hire an assistant fund too. You need to tour the USA with a smiley face. So thank you for that, Lucy. And when you're talking about, or the question that was mentioned earlier about would I tour with a famous band, I think it's a different thing if you're touring as yourself, because then you're not leaving everything you do behind. You can still live stream about your tour and your music and still talk to everyone on your phone. But when you join another band, that will mean rehearsing their songs, playing their shows, rehearsing their vocals if you're doing backing vocals. So there's a lot that you have to put to one side if you're actually playing for another band. But if it was just me touring, then me going on a world tour is definitely not outside the realms of possibility. Maybe someday in the future, you never know. And I always think about this COVID thing, but hopefully, fingers crossed, this whole vaccine thing's going to work out and it'll all get back to relative normality in the future. But thank you, Lucy, for that donation. And TZ has donated $9.99. Thank you for that, T. And the message is, rando question, have you ever heard of the band Sabotage? I just recently found them out and can't seem to stop listening, mainly the Hot MK album Merry Tuesday, and with, I'm not sure what that symbol is. It might be the Hawaiian symbol, and I'm not sure, it could be something else. It's too small for me to see. It just looks like a bit of a pink blob, but thank you so much for that. I think that's Hawaiian, or is it? It's kind of not rock horns, I think without the first finger is like hang 10 or surfing or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making this up. I'm sure I've seen that signal somewhere before. But anyway, thank you so much for that donation. And for the question as well, I haven't heard or I haven't listened to Sabotage, if I'm even saying that correctly, but it does ring a bell. I'll have to look into it in the future, but thank you, T, for that donation. And Susan has donated $14.99. Thank you for this, Susan. The message is, love all the behind the scenes insight and ideas we get in Patreon. If you can, join us as a Patreon subscriber. You get to be a part of making the magic happen. So great advice there from Susan. And it's a great time to plug Patreon if you want to get involved yourselves and just be the reason that everything happens. This doesn't just happen by magic that I can do everything. It's from all of your support over on Patreon and in these live streams. So thank you everyone for that, and Susan as well for that donation, and also just shining a bit of a light on patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus, because that's where the magic happens. And I do upload just updates if I'm not doing a video on a particular night. I'm always up to something, so I'll always post what I'm up to. It just so happened that last night it was my technical troubleshooting night, so that's what I was telling everybody about back then. But thank you, Susan, for that. And I get rid of that link. It looks like we've just passed 200 likes. Thank you everyone for hitting that thumbs up. You can keep on doing that as many times as you want. You only get 1 like per person, unfortunately, but it looks like we are closing in on our 330 likes goal. Let's just quickly throw the attention to the pick roulette likes as well for tonight, because it's set at 340. We are going to be having a pick roulette tonight, so keep watching for that. And if you want to get another one going next Tuesday, 340 is the likes target that we're going to be looking out for to see if we can make it up to those dizzy heights. But we will keep that in our minds. It's 10 more than the standard likes for tonight's live stream. We will see how we get on. So back into the super chat window, and Chet has donated $4.99. Thank you for that. A straight up donation. Linda Z has donated $5, and the message is, you talked about the effect of temperature on guitars. What about humid and dry weather? So thank you for that, Linda. And we're getting a little bit weather based here tonight, but it's exactly the same for humidity and dry weather. It's just probably best to think of the guitar as a piece of wood. And when you've had any piece of wood that you've kept either in your garage or kept outside, and some pieces of wood, for example, when they get wet and then they dry out, they start to warp. It's exactly the same thing. And if you've got a guitar neck that is starting to warp, then the distance from the machine heads to the bridge is decreasing because it's being pulled towards the bridge. And if you imagine when somebody does a dive bomb with the bridge, when they press down on that, it's bringing the bridge up towards the head of the guitar. So it means that the tension is decreasing, so it's changing the pitch of the strings. So if you imagine that the head is now coming closer to the bridge, it's going to decrease the tension on the strings, therefore affect the pitch. The only problem is that it's not going back to where you started, it is now constantly decreased. So as soon as your neck starts to warp, you've got a lot of problems. It can also warp not only from top to bottom, but from side to side. So you start to get a bit of a warp in the fretboard, and that's bad news as well. You can even have it going the other way, so that if your neck starts to warp away from the bridge, it's going to increase the tension and it's going to pull the strings closer to the fretboard, which means you'll now start getting fret buzz because the strings will start touching the frets. So yeah, real nightmare, but it's just good to think of guitars as a piece of wood, because that's what they are. It's just the body that, if it's not made out of wood, obviously isn't going to be as affected by the weather. But it's important to know about these things, especially if you are in a country where the humidity does change, and it is quite a dramatic change, and you're having problems with your guitar. It's probably going to be a case of trying to find somewhere in the house that is in the shade and a little bit more consistent. Obviously, if you're leaving taking your guitar out in the sun and it's very hot and it's indoors, it acts like a greenhouse. So it'll be heating up that guitar. And then you might take it to a cold room and then you're going to get a bit of a dramatic effect in your tuning, but also the effect that that has on the wood as a whole. But anyway, thank you, Linda Z, for that. And we're having some long answers to questions here, but we will move forward. It's already 12:30. I don't know where the time goes. It's already been half an hour. So thank you, everyone, for hitting that thumbs up, because we are at 218 likes now. Half an hour into the live stream, it is a great time to spike those likes. I'm going to move this little thing across the 218 just to centralize it a little bit more. And Debbie has donated $4.99. Thank you for this, Debbie. The message is, hi Phil, have you had a chance to listen to Wolfgang Van Halen and his song dedicated to his dad? It's so good. Thank you, Debbie, for that. And yes, I have. I listened to that last night and it's a really nice song as well. It must have been difficult for Wolfgang to record that, but what I love about it, if you've seen the video, is all of the footage that is shown, old camcorder footage of Wolfgang when he was newly born and just times with his dad. So that's a great video and song to listen to and watch if you do get a chance, but I have seen that, so thank you for that, Debbie. And Patrick has donated $20. Thank you for this, Patrick. The message is, hi Phil, in the Gordon Lightfoot song, Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, the lyrics, does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? Are those lyrics the most powerful in modern music? And that's going to be something that, of course, is totally subjective as to lyricists and what kind of lyrics you like. But Gordon Lightfoot, you can find him on the channel here, as I'm sure you know. You just type in Gordon Lightfoot and British Guitarist Analysis, you'll be able to find it. But the lyrical content, obviously it depends what you believe in as well. There's so many different avenues, and this is why music is so unique and subjective, depending on what you believe in, whether you believe in a god, any particular god. But for me, I do like the deeper lyrical content, and sometimes it's great to have a song that's a little bit more light-hearted. You need to lift the mood. But then I also say about the true artists that have that ability to make you think after they've stopped playing, and that is certainly an example of a song that makes you think and puts something in your mind to question and to put things in your own perspective and to maybe question your own life and what life is all about and all of that kind of deep stuff, and especially about time and life as we know it. So yes, Patrick, thank you for that. I'm not going to say that they're the most powerful lyrics in modern music. It is subjective, but certainly powerful nonetheless. Thank you for that donation. Lethia has donated $2. Thank you so much for that, Lethia, and the messages. I like how you're grateful for snow? With the snow? Maybe this year, fingers crossed. In the UK, we don't usually get snow, but for small donations too. So I'll read that again. I like how you're grateful for small donations too, and also snow in the UK. Lethia didn't say that, I just added that in, but thank you for that, Lethia. And if this is it, that every donation, no matter how small, makes a difference. It literally makes a difference. If you've got a few thousand people donating $1, that's gonna make a difference. And if you have a few hundred people donating $1 over a set period of time, that adds up. So it does really make a difference. So thank you, Lethia, for that donation, and every donation that you have made and everybody has made in these live streams over however long we've been doing it. And it has been for a long time here on YouTube, probably a couple of years, maybe even 3 years now. So thank you everyone for the donations. And I know that we've grown as a community, and it was just a couple of people that I was live streaming to in the first place. But thank you everybody for joining in now and making this such a great place to be. Chet has donated $2.99, and I can't see if that's got a message underneath it, but we will get into a video. I'll make sure that I refresh the screen. I think I have to adjust the screen as well because it's not quite centralized and not quite clear. So we will be jumping into the first video of the night, which is going to be the lyric version of the song called Paris Nord from my album. This was requested over on Patreon. Let me just have a quick hop over there. It was Marilyn who requested this one, also Kevin, and I think it might have been requested a little bit further down as well, but it might take me a little bit of time to get through all of the requests here. But thank you everyone for this. We are going to jump straight into this, and hopefully you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys after this. I'll be in the chat room while this is playing. Rock! And there we have it. That was my song called Paris Nord, and I hope you guys enjoyed that one. You can pick that up at wingsofpegasus.com/store. It's from my album called Persistence. And you can also get it on iTunes and Amazon. But it's better for me if you go to my website, because then I don't have to give away a percentage. So we're going to be getting the Super Chat window and the live chat back up on screen. See what's going on in there, because we have had a few more donations. So thank you so much for this. We are going up to Chet's donation, which was a straight up donation. So thank you for that. And Paul has donated $5. Thank you for this, Paul. The message is always happy to be here. Thank you for that, Paul. And Kay has donated $5. Thank you for that, Kay. Orlando is back in there and has donated $5. Thank you for that, Orlando. The message is, does a 7-string guitar encourage use of the pinky finger on the fretboard? So thank you for that, Orlando. And the 7-string guitar pretty much is just going to open you up for getting more tuning and more diversity in your tuning. Generally, the 7th string, or the lowest string closest one to you as you're playing, is going to be detuned even further than the standard E of your 6th string. So it means that you're now being able to get further down into that bass range. And it's what you'll find with heavier genres of music and hard rock, metal especially, and death metal. Those kinds of genres you'll see sometimes more than a 7-string guitar, but sometimes you can get crazy amount of strings on a guitar nowadays. But the 7-string was that standard in order to take that string, the one closest to you, I'm sure you know, the thickest string, down a lot, so that you can now get some really heavy sounds going on, especially when you start applying distortion. As for whether it's going to encourage the use of your pinky finger, not really. It's not changing the way you have to play it. You don't now need to use your little finger to play a 7-string guitar. It's just you're playing with a slightly lower bottom string, and that's all it is. And pretty much technique wise, some people don't play with their little fingers, some people do. It's just down to how you've learned to play, what you prefer, what your style is. It's not really down to the guitar, it's down to the player, whether you use your little finger or not. I'm one of those guys that unfortunately has not very big hands, so I have to use my little pinky to get stretches in, where other guys might use their 3rd finger in order to make that stretch. And sometimes I will tap with my right hand because the little finger on my left hand won't reach. So these kind of concessions that you have to make, everybody's different, everybody's got different size hands, so you just have to work out what works best for you. But anyway, thank you so much for that, Orlando. And Lisa has donated $5. Thank you for this, Lisa. The message is, you've been given a time machine and can choose one festival to perform at. Do you pick Woodstock or Live Aid? Thank you for that, Lisa. And this live stream would go on for years trying to decide whether to play at Woodstock or Live Aid. And the pros for both of those is Live Aid was just a crazy event and performances to witness. I'm thinking mostly about Queen here, because that was just something that people that were there throughout their whole life, now they can say that I was there, and so many people would love to be able to say that about Live Aid and that particular Queen performance. Being a Queen fan and a Brian May fan and a Freddie Mercury fan, just a fan of Queen altogether, being there would have been amazing. But then on the flip side, if you're talking about a time machine and going back to see some Woodstock performances, it means that I could go back and watch Jimi Hendrix live, which would just be crazy in order to have the ability to do that. So I would be really split between going back to Woodstock or seeing Live Aid, and it would probably be a flip of the coin, because then I don't have to decide myself, because I wouldn't be able to decide. So I'd flip a coin, and whatever that landed on, I'd be going to Woodstock or Live Aid. But thank you, Lisa, for that, and I can't give a definitive answer for that, unfortunately. Kevin has donated $2. Thank you for this, Kevin. The message is, Phil, do you like Marmite with some rock horns? And yes, I do, but I don't eat it because I have these particular foods that don't agree with me, and Marmite is one of those. Even though I do like Marmite, I like the taste of it, and I used to have it on toast, which was very nice as well. But yeah, I have these foods that, like white potato, I've mentioned on the streams before, that Marmite just falls into that category. Pretty much any food that is nice and that I like is sometimes, if I have any of it or too much of it, then I will have problems. But thank you for that, Kevin. And Kay has donated $20. Thank you for this, Kay. The message is, okay, while you were talking, a message from you appeared in the chat room simultaneously. Are you able to talk and type at the same time? Do you have pre-recorded chat messages you send out while you're speaking? So thank you for this, Kay. And the reason for a message showing up is that I'm doing this live at 1:45 in the morning in the UK, but it doesn't go to all of the countries instantly this second as it is in the UK. There's going to be a delay of I don't know how many seconds, but if you're in a country, especially if we're talking about the USA, it means that there will be a delay. It doesn't happen instantly. So it might be the case that by the time I press the button to start the video and I start typing instantly, by the time it gets to you, my message has popped up because the live feed, the chat room, I think, because it's text, it's not a lot of information. So it's pretty much instantaneous. For when I've typed that message and pressed enter, that is a live message I've just typed, but the video of me might take 5 seconds, or I don't know how long it takes, maybe 10 seconds. You'll have to, maybe we can do an experiment to see how quickly my message gets to you and then the visual of myself gets to you, because obviously video is a lot more information and it takes time to get that amount of information to you. But anyway, I'm hoping this makes sense, but we'll do an experiment. What I'm going to do is, for the next video, I will press the button and then I'll do a message instantly, and then you can time how long it takes for, but then again, that's not going to work. You'll have to see how long it takes, count the amount of time between my typed message and when the video starts to know exactly the delay in seconds to how long it takes to get to whichever country you are in. I'm assuming the USA, so you can see it's probably going to differ from state to state as well. It might take longer to get to further away states, but we will have a look. A great idea and experiment that we've never done before on the live stream, so get ready to count. And we are going to be jumping into my cover of Parisian Walkways. This was requested over on Patreon. Again, thank you guys for that. And it was Kevin who was in there straight away with a request for this. But also, I think we had a few more popping down the list. Marge also requested this. So thank you for that. And let me just scroll down a little bit further. Donna as well threw it in there as a request. So thank you for this. Right, so let's get ready to count, because I'm going to start the video and you're going to be looking out for my typed text, because then you can count from the typed text to when the video starts and you can gauge how much of a delay there is from the UK getting to wherever you are. But let's do this and I'll see you guys after. Rock! And there we have it. That was my cover of Parisian Walkways. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. And I was watching in the live chat room, our little experiment did take sometimes 1 to 2 seconds. We had a 3 seconds in there, we had a 4 seconds, we had a 10 seconds. So I'm sure it's dependent on servers, computers, and the signal getting out to particular areas of the world. So it does seem like we have a variation in the time that it takes to get there. Also, maybe it's a case of making sure that everything's refreshed and that you are watching it when you think you're watching it. Because if you're watching it and you're ever so slightly delayed and it's been paused, obviously that's going to affect it. So we do have a variety of times and delays, but I don't think it's too bad. As long as you guys can see it at some point, that's great. That's all we want. But let's get the live chat room up on screen again. And also the super chat. Let's have a little bit of a check-in with the likes, because we are at 275 likes so far. Thank you everyone for hitting that thumbs up. If you want to have a spike of the likes now, great time to do it. We are approaching 1 AM here in the UK, 7 minutes to 1, and it looks like we are getting closer to that target, 261. Thank you everyone for hitting that thumbs up. We are going to be jumping into the super chat window, then we're going to take a look at just one picture for tonight that has been uploaded to the Wings Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook, and then we're going to be jumping into our pick roulette for tonight. And let's jump into, first of all, the super chat window. Let's have a little look in there. So Sue has donated $20. Thank you for that, Sue. That is a straight up donation. Thank you for that. King Nero's in there again and has donated $5. Thank you for that, King Nero. And the message is, amazing more cover, and it sent chills down my spine. That axe was dripping with sound. So thank you for that. And it's something that I've seen so many versions, and I think some of the lead lines that I'm playing in that video are from the live version that Gary used to play, and he did so many variations live. I also used to have on tape, like a bootleg tape of a live performance by Gary, and there were just some great lines on there as well. And yeah, it was one of those things that I think instrumentally that's how it started, and Gary just had this as an instrumental piece, but then Phil Lynott started to put words to it as well, so it's interesting how that whole song came about. But thank you for the kind words, King Nero. And Orlando donated $5 as well. Again, thank you so much for that, Orlando. The message is, Parisian Walkway had more bends than a wire hanger. So thank you for that. There are a lot of bends in there, and there's a lot of sustain in there, particularly on one note. And people often ask, oh, how did you get that sustain? Which pedal did you use? And it's not a pedal, I'm just standing in front of my amp. And everybody that plays guitar probably has messed around with this. Once you find the right position, the right angle, you can get your guitar to feedback. You start that feedback loop, and it means that the note you're playing will go on forever until you turn off the amp or stop playing the guitar. So thank you for that, Orlando. And looking at my guitar, you can see that it's a Fender Strat. I have customized it a little bit with that dual blade pickup, but that's going to simulate a humbucker on there, so I had that put in. But in terms of getting lots of sustain, it does die pretty quickly, so in order to get a long note like that, feedback was the only way to go for me. But anyway, thank you Terry, who's just jumped in there and donated $5 as well, and that's a straight up donation. So we are going to be jumping into showing this picture, and then because we're almost at 1 AM here, we're going to be getting into the pick roulette. And if you hit that thumbs up, it means that next week we're going to have another pick roulette, so you'll be entered into that. But we are aiming for 340 if my memory serves me correctly. So there we have it, that's the target that we're aiming for, 340 over there. And just the likes for tonight, we are aiming for 330. So if you want to hit that thumbs up, maybe we can have a spike of the likes. We are at now 265, so we've gone up a few more. Thank you everyone for hitting that thumbs up. It is much appreciated, and it helps this channel to get out there and just to grow as a whole. And Karen has just jumped into the super chat window as well and has donated $5. Thank you for that, Karen. The message is, "Hi Phil, from one musician to another. I appreciate how you always have me musically thinking. Thanks for being a welcoming inspiration. Cheers, Karen." So thank you for the kind words, Karen, and no problem. I just do what I do, and if people get something out of it, then that's great. It's all the more reason to keep on doing whatever I'm doing. But thank you, Karen, for that donation. And DKMRE has donated $10. Thank you for that. The message is, "I love your music reactions. I think the best on YouTube. Do you have any hints or exercises on how to get your left hand fingers to spread on the fretboard?" Joe. So thank you for that, Joe. And when I was learning to play the guitar, I never did any stretching exercises. And it's something that I think naturally, if you start playing just the standard chords at the bottom of the guitar, playing your standard G with all four fingers and then stretching over to the G with your third finger on the low E string and little finger on the high E string, if you start doing these shapes, you'll naturally start to get more flexibility in your hands. Then when you start playing lead guitar, then you'll find that especially pentatonic shape 1, if you know that, just have your way through or work your way through and have your hands really strict in their positions so that you're using first finger on the low E string. If we're starting from bottom to top, we're going first finger, little finger, first finger, third finger, first finger, third finger, first finger, third finger, first finger, little finger, first finger, little finger, and then you'll be on your E string. So I was just calling through the that fingering of pentatonic shape 1, and if you keep that fingering really strict, you'll naturally start to stretch with that third finger in order to get that 4-fret stretch rather than the 3 frets that are for 1 and 3 or the 2 frets for 1 and 2. And this is how you want to approach pretty much when you're learning to play. With lead guitar, you want to be strict with those fingerings so that the first finger and the second finger and the third finger and the little finger all have their own fret. So if there's a particular lead line you want to play, just use the finger that is closest to it. And if you keep it strict, then that'll help with starting to play faster as well, because it means you're not having to move a finger that wasn't originally there to that position. You'll already have a finger that is close. So that's my only advice, really. Pentatonic shape 1 is great for getting that little finger involved. And when you start getting used to that, you can then start to stretch a little bit more, use your first finger, and then the third finger for that third fret up in order to play pentatonic shape 1 on that high E string, for example. And then you can play the little finger 2 frets above that. So then you have a fret in between your third finger and your little finger. And you'll find that there'll be a limit as to how far you can stretch, even when you've been playing for quite a while, and that's just determined by the size of your hands. You're never ever going to be able to stretch as far as somebody who has big hands, because it's physically impossible. Even though some people, sometimes I've seen comments where people said, "Oh, eventually you will be able to stretch that far, it just takes practice." But it's a physical impossibility. If your hand literally isn't as big as somebody else's and they've stretched their hand out and their finger is 1 inch or sometimes 2 inches longer than your finger, you're never going to make it. So just stretch your hand out as much as you can. I wouldn't do any particular exercises. Just playing is always the best exercise. That's what I think. That's how I started to expand the stretch that I could get with my left hand. But anyway, thank you for that donation, Joe. And Music Maiden has donated $5 again. Thank you for this. The message is, what would happen if all your 154,000 subs, or even half, watched your live analysis tomorrow or live tomorrow? Would your setup be able to handle the traffic? So thank you for that. And it's not really dependent on me. That is YouTube. Their servers deal with it all. So it's not my setup. So it would be fine with that, which would be crazy for that many people to tune in, but it would be fun as well. So thank you for that. And Vince has donated $5 as well. Thank you so much for that, Vince. And the message is from live chat. Jennifer Sun says, Vince, can you ask him if he would like to play a B bender guitar like Marty Stewart's, I would add G bender ? So thank you for that. And I haven't played with a B bender yet. It's very much something that you find more in country music, with that style getting the sound of that pedal steel guitar, also a little bit of lap steel guitar. So it's not really applicable to my genre. I'm into hard rock, and that's pretty much the style, blues as well, that I play. So typically I haven't had any exposure to using a B bender, but maybe I can do at some point in the future if somebody gives it to me to play. But then there's working out all of the runs that you can then play with that. It's just a totally different way of playing, and in exactly the same way that you work out techniques for hard rock and metal, you then work out particular lines and techniques for country music. And it's very much, when you're talking about bluegrass and country, there's open string runs that are used quite a lot. So those ring up ring out while you're moving up the fretboard. And anyone that has played country and the chicken picking country, as I've mentioned in videos before, you'll find yourself up around the 7th and 9th, 11th frets as well, but you're using notes whilst hitting with your third finger and hybrid picking the open string. So it is a different way of playing, but it's an interesting way of playing, not a way of playing that I have had a lot of exposure to, but maybe in the future. But thank you for that, Vince. By the way, it is a good time to type I agree in the live chat room, just in case we do hit the target, because we are at 322 likes already. So thank you guys so much for hitting that thumbs up. It looks like we might get to the target of 330. We need 6 more people, and we need 16 more people to get to the pick roulette target for tonight with the likes. We will see how we get on. Only 15 more people in order to hit that. And if you type I agree, your name will be on the pick roulette wheel for next week. So without further ado, let's jump into the picture that we have. I'm hoping that maybe I can remove the super chat. We'll try and get rid of maybe the pick roulette's like as well. And I might be able to show you guys the picture and the background. I've got to go somewhere else for this, but we should be able to get the background up on screen. Okay, we've lost the live chat room. So even when I said it's a great time to type I agree, I'm giving you a quick warning now to stop typing I agree. And I'm going to now talk for maybe about 10 seconds so that you've got the message. And we've learned now that there's a little bit of a delay that happens around the world. So hopefully I can speak for about 10 seconds and you don't type I agree, because I am going to now load up the background. We're going to have a look at Tim with his pick that he won in a previous pick roulette, and then we are going to be jumping into the pick roulette, and then I'll leave a little bit of space at the end so that you guys can type I agree. So don't type I agree now, even though I can see some people are still typing I agree. So do not type it, because I'm now getting rid of the screen, and you have to be able to see the live chat room in order to be eligible for entry. So let's get rid of that, and let's have a look at Tim with his pick. So a massive thank you for uploading this picture to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook, and there we have it. It's one of the most elite picks to own, because you have to be very lucky in order to get your hands on one. So congratulations everybody in the past who has won a pick, because you only get one of these on live streams, and you have to be watching the live stream when your name pops up, if it does pop up. So a massive congratulations to Tim and the previous winners. I'm just going to remove that from the screen now. Thank you for uploading that, Tim, and all of you guys in the past. If you do win a pick and you take a picture of yourself, load it or upload it to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook. Just have a search for that. You'll be able to find it, and you can join that group over there. But what I'm going to have to do is get the intro for this sorted out, and I also have to adjust this thing on the screen, because previously where we did the experiment, in order for you guys to see the video of Hero that I had set up, or my song called Hero that I had set up, I had to move the screen source. It's all complicated stuff, but hopefully now I have readjusted it and we should be able to jump into the pick roulette for tonight, Tuesday night's pick roulette. Good luck, everybody. Let's jump into it and we'll see how we get on. Rock! And here we have it with the roulette for tonight. And a massive thank you to Carla for sorting this out. Also, Carla has to watch through all of the comments in the live stream. I'm just going to see if I can get the live chat room on screen. I don't think it's going to show up, but wait till afterwards to type anything. So, just to mention again that Carla has had to look through the whole live chat for the previous live stream that was last Tuesday in order to get all of these names. So thank you so much, Carla, for doing that. It can be a bit of a pain, especially when the live chat room doesn't even show up and she has to watch the screen. It actually isn't showing up at all, really, nowadays. I don't know why that is, but we will maybe figure it out at some point. But thank you, Carla, for sorting this out. And what we do on these live streams is we shuffle the names 5 times. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And without further ado, let's start the pick roulette for Tuesday night. Good luck, everybody. We will see who is the winner of the Wings of Pegasus pick tonight. Let's have a little look. We can see it. It's starting to slow down. I'm starting to be able to just about make the names out. And here we go. We've got Sherry going through there. Lethea's just gone through. We've got Carla herself. It isn't Carla's lucky night tonight. Angela, Amy. Is he going to stop on Amy? It might get as far as Barbara, maybe? It always tends to go a little bit further. But there we have it. Barbara Pinkerton is our winner for tonight. And congratulations, Barbara. Did you guys hear the fanfare that happened? Because maybe with my previous setup you wouldn't have been able to hear that, but maybe you can now hear that. A little celebration fanfare for Barbara. So, congratulations, everybody. Unfortunately, your name was on the wheel, but only Barbara has won tonight. So congratulations for making it onto the wheel and typing I agree. But it's Barbara who's taking the pick tonight. So congratulations to Barbara. Now, Barbara has to make herself known in that live chat room in order to pick up your pick. And hopefully that is something that we can look out for in the live chat room, Barbara, to see if she is in there. But congratulations and good luck, everybody, for the next pick roulette. We are going to be getting that off screen. Hopefully I can find a way of doing it to get back to me, because we are at 348. So when I say good luck to everybody next week, that is because we have hit the pick roulette target, which was 340. So thank you everyone for hitting that thumbs up. It means we are going to be having another pick roulette next week, which means type in I agree in the live chat room. In order to be entered into next week's pick roulette, you need to be typing that in the live chat room. And I'm going to leave a little bit longer so you guys can do that, because we are going to be calling this live stream to a close relatively soon, maybe in 4 or 5 minutes, because it is almost 1:15 here in the morning. Let me just get the super chat window up on screen, because I think we've had a little bit of action in there. And Orlando has donated $2. Thank you so much for that, Orlando. And the message is 323 and rising. Spike the likes with lots of thumbs up. Thank you for that, Orlando. And we are now 350. So a crazy amount of likes. 349. Maybe I misread that. Or maybe it just changed while I was looking at it. Somebody might have done the old double click where they click it and it registers twice. But 349 is still a fantastic total. And Tim has joined in as well with the donation. Thank you so much for this, Tim. And it's $5. The message is, thanks for the pick, Phil. This makes my 12-string air guitar sweeter. I promise not to wear it out. So thank you for that, Tim. And also for using it on your 12-string air guitar, which is great as well because they're really versatile, those guitars, just like the electric versions. So thank you, Tim, for entering into the pick roulette and typing I agree, and thank you all of you for typing I agree. I can see that I think we still have a few I agrees going through. We are going to be calling it to a close, so try and get those I agrees in to the live chat room as quickly as possible. Lulu has donated $10. Thank you so much for that, Lulu. The message is golf balls and tee fund. So you can also have a golf tee, which is the little plastic thing that you put your ball on before you drive it with your driver off the tee, as it's called. So maybe golf balls and tee fund, and tee spelt T-E-E fund. So thank you for that, Lulu. And with the golf balls at the moment, I actually have 19 golf balls, and you usually get 12 in a pack, and I bought a pack of 12, and then I bought another pack of yellow balls. But the whole point of what I'm trying to achieve with golf is to hit the ball straight where I'm aiming it, because to me, I think that is basically the game. If you can hit the ball where you're aiming it, then it's all good, and then it's a case of trying to get it into the air. And if you have a hazard in front of you, obviously then you're going to hit it into water and then you can lose a ball. But touch wood, at the moment I'm getting better, I think, at hitting it straighter and where I'm aiming, so I'm losing less balls. So it means that I can use the same ball for all of the holes, all 18 holes, and it means that I don't need a lot of balls. So the golf ball fund, thank you for that, Lulu. But at the moment, that seems to be fine. I'm sure in the future, depending on how much I can play in the future, I will probably need to get some balls at the, I don't know, the 2021 Phil Open that I'll just invent myself. But anyway, thank you, Lulu. Maybe that's another event we can do. If anybody else plays golf, we can have a Phil Open and we can just hit some golf balls and have a laugh and probably all just play off a ridiculous handicap because we're not very good at the game. But anyway, thank you for that, Lulu. So we are going to be calling this to a close now. Final call for the I agree, because soon the screen is going to disappear. We're going to start saying goodbye now. So thank you everyone for joining me tonight. A big shout out to the moderators, as always, for doing such a fantastic job on these live streams. You guys in the super chat and patrons at the bottom of the screen, you know who you are, who also do pop up in that super chat window. Thank you so much for your support, because it has allowed me to have a go at doing the first ever live analysis video tomorrow night. And it's going to be probably not this long. We're not going to be going on for an hour or longer on an analysis video. My plan is to make it just the same as a normal analysis video. It just so happens that it's live, so it means that people tuning in and watching it afterwards will still have the same analysis video. It'll be 15 or 20 minutes, but it was just done on a Wednesday night as a live stream. So make sure that if you are around, you tune in for that. It's not compulsory. You don't have to watch it live. You will be able to watch it afterwards in exactly the same way that you can watch these live streams on Catch Up as well. So you can still hit that thumbs up if you are part of the Catch Up crew. And 361 we got to tonight. So there will be another pick roulette next week, which is all good and something to look forward to. I will see you guys live again on Saturday night. If you can join me on the live analysis, then I'll see you tomorrow night. And there's going to be another analysis video, just a standard one on Friday night, and then another one on Sunday. So we've still got plenty of stuff going on, and I will catch you guys at the next live stream, maybe tomorrow night, but on Friday, the analysis, and the live stream on Saturday, where we will be having another pick roulette, so look out for that. We do have a lot going on at the moment, which is good. We are keeping busy, and it's good to keep busy in these times when, especially in the UK, we are isolated. at home. So we've got another, I think maybe 2 weeks, a little bit longer than that, unfortunately. So we're all just sat inside. So everybody stay as safe as possible. Follow your government's guidelines with wearing masks and isolating, socially distancing, all that kind of stuff. And I'll see you guys when I see you. Have a great rest of the week. Maybe I'll catch you live before the week is out. And hopefully everything will be fine tomorrow night. The setup we've tried works. So I think I'm relatively comfortable with how it's going to be set up from an audio perspective tomorrow night. So it'll be something to experience. The first one's always going to be a learning experience, but we'll see how we get on tomorrow night. So thank you everyone for joining me for tonight's live stream, and have a great rest of the week, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!